Imagine it's 1995. The internet is still young, and the tools to navigate this new digital frontier are limited. For most people, the internet was an unexplored territory, a mix of promise and confusion. Websites were rudimentary, clunky, and often difficult to navigate. Creating one? That was an entirely different story, reserved for the tech-savvy few. Now picture a graphic design teacher, Lynda Weinman, juggling the challenges of teaching students while wrestling with the latest digital tools like Photoshop and Illustrator. These tools were groundbreaking but intimidating, and for Lynda, it wasn't enough to just teach them in a classroom. She needed a way to truly empower her students and herself, to make sense of the chaos. That's when Lynda had an idea. She decided to create a website, a place where she could test out these tools, experiment with them, and most importantly, share her students' work with the world. She called it lynda.com. But back then, websites weren't easy to build. It was like trying to piece together a jigsaw puzzle without knowing what the final picture looked like. Coding was laborious, resources were scarce, and the technology was far from intuitive. Yet, she persisted, driven by a belief that this small digital corner could be something meaningful. Little did she know, this tiny project, born out of curiosity and a desire to teach, would grow into a billion-dollar platform. Have you ever had a small idea you weren't sure about, but deep down, you knew it had potential? Maybe it's something you're sitting on right now. Hold on to that thought as we dive deeper into Lynda's journey, a story that starts with creativity and ends with global impact. A vision born from passion, Lynda's early life and inspirations. Before the billion-dollar acquisition, before the fame, Lynda Weinman was simply a curious and passionate teacher with a dream. Growing up in Los Angeles, California, Lynda's world was filled with the arts. Her childhood home was a hub of creativity. Paintbrushes, sketchbooks, and photography equipment were never out of reach. These early experiences instilled in her a love for visual storytelling. As a teenager, she was often found with a camera in hand, capturing the mundane and transforming it into art. Her teachers noticed her unique perspective and encouraged her to pursue her artistic interests further. Lynda's creativity wasn't confined to one medium, she dabbled in painting, sculpture, and even amateur filmmaking. She wasn't the kind of person who followed a linear path, instead, she explored, experimented, and learned by doing. When it came time for college, Lynda chose the Evergreen State College in Olympia, Washington. It was an unconventional choice, but so was Lynda. Evergreen was known for its progressive, interdisciplinary approach to education. There were no grades, no rigid course structures, just a focus on self-motivated learning. This environment encouraged Lynda to think critically and explore her passions without boundaries. She didn't know it then, but this philosophy of exploration and curiosity planted the seeds for what would become her life's work. After college, Lynda's career took her to the glitz and glamour of Hollywood. She worked as an animator for the film industry, contributing to major projects and honing her technical skills. Her time at DreamWorks was particularly formative. Animation in those days was undergoing a transformation, shifting from traditional hand-drawn techniques to digital platforms. Lynda embraced these changes, immersing herself in the cutting-edge technology of the time. But something was missing. While she enjoyed the technical aspects of her work, Lynda found herself drawn to teaching. She loved the process of breaking down complex concepts into simple, digestible lessons. Teaching allowed her to share her knowledge and inspire others, a feeling she couldn't replicate in the animation studio. This realization marked the beginning of a new chapter in her life. Lynda accepted a teaching position at the Art Center College of Design in Pasadena, California. It was here that she first encountered the challenges of teaching graphic design in the digital age. Tools like Photoshop and Illustrator were becoming essential, but there were few resources available to teach them effectively. Most of her students struggled to keep up, and Lynda herself had to learn these tools through trial and error. The lack of accessible learning materials frustrated her, but it also sparked an idea. What if there were a better way to teach these skills? What if she could create a resource that anyone could access, regardless of their location or background? These questions lingered in her mind, slowly taking shape as she navigated her teaching career. At first, the idea seemed impossible. How could one person create a comprehensive educational resource? And how would she make it available to the masses? Lynda didn't have all the answers, but she had determination. She began experimenting, creating handouts and step-by-step guides for her students. Her teaching style evolved, becoming more focused on practical applications and real-world problem-solving. Her students loved it, and word began to spread. Lynda's reputation as a teacher who could demystify the most complicated tools grew, attracting more students and opportunities. The tipping point came when Lynda attended a conference on web design. It was the early days of the internet, and the possibilities seemed endless. Inspired by what she saw, Lynda decided to take the leap. She would create a website, not just as a teaching tool, but as a platform for sharing knowledge with the world. It was an ambitious idea, but Lynda was no stranger to challenges. She rolled up her sleeves and got to work, laying the foundation for what would become lynda.com. Turning a classroom tool into an online powerhouse. Lynda.com started as a digital playground, a place where students could showcase their work and explore the possibilities of graphic design. But as the years passed, Lynda realized her website could be so much more. In 2002, she made a bold decision, to move all her teaching online. It wasn't easy. Online education was barely a concept, let alone a business model. There were skeptics, plenty of them. Why would anyone learn online when they can attend classes in person, they'd ask. But Lynda saw the potential. She understood that not everyone could attend a classroom, some people had jobs, families, or lived too far away. Online education could break down those barriers. This decision wasn't just a leap of faith, it was a calculated risk. She invested in creating high-quality video lessons, ensuring that her online content wasn't just a substitute for in-person learning but an improvement. The lessons were accessible, engaging, and practical. And soon, the audience started to grow. Lynda.com became a go-to platform for anyone who wanted to learn graphic design, coding, and more. Do you see where this is going? The very pain points Lynda's students faced, distance, time, and accessibility, became the driving force behind her success. Have you identified the pain points in your own story yet? If not, this could be your aha moment. And hey, if this resonates with you, don't forget to like this story so it reaches others who need the inspiration. The billion-dollar breakthrough. As the platform gained traction, Lynda.com became more than just a tool for graphic designers. It transformed into an educational juggernaut, teaching millions of people worldwide skills that could change their lives. And in 2015, the story reached its climax when LinkedIn acquired Lynda.com for a staggering $1.5 billion. Think about that for a moment. A simple idea born from a desire to teach and share grew into something that not only transformed the lives of its users but also changed the game for online education. Today, what started as Lynda.com lives on as LinkedIn Learning, a platform that continues to empower people to learn and grow. Take a second to reflect, what's the one idea you've been sitting on? Could it be your Lynda.com? A connection to your journey. This story isn't just about Lynda, it's about you. Lynda's journey is proof that even the simplest ideas can have monumental impact when driven by passion and a clear purpose. She faced challenges, took risks, and believed in the value of what she was creating. Sound familiar? Maybe it's a project you've started or a dream you've been nurturing quietly. What's stopping you from taking that next step? Now, before we move on, let's ensure you're not missing out on the tools and inspiration that could propel your journey. Check if you've marked this story as a favorite or if you've explored similar stories in your feed. It's these moments of learning and connection that can spark the breakthrough you're looking for. This story isn't just about Lynda, it's about you. Lynda's journey is proof that even the simplest ideas can have monumental impact when driven by passion and a clear purpose. She faced challenges, took risks, and believed in the value of what she was creating. Sound familiar? Maybe it's a project you've started or a dream you've been nurturing quietly. What's stopping you from taking that next step? Now, before we move on, let's ensure you're not missing out on the tools and inspiration that could propel your journey. Check if you've marked this story as a favorite or if you've explored similar stories in your feed. It's these moments of learning and connection that can spark the breakthrough you're looking for. Lynda's story teaches us about the power of counter-conventional thinking, going against the grain to achieve extraordinary results. She didn't follow traditional paths, instead, she carved her own. Here are the key takeaways. Start small, think big. What began as a classroom tool became a billion-dollar enterprise. Every big idea starts somewhere small. Solve real problems. Lynda focused on making education accessible, solving a problem that resonated with millions. Embrace change. Moving to online teaching was a bold, unproven step, but it was the key to her success. Stay curious. Lynda's desire to explore and learn fueled her journey. Which of these lessons speaks to you the most? Take a moment to jot it down or even share it with someone who might need to hear it. And if you're enjoying this, make sure you subscribe to stay updated on more inspirational stories. Here's the challenge. In the next 30 minutes, what's one small action you can take to move closer to your goals? Maybe it's writing down your idea, researching a solution to a problem you've identified, or even reaching out to someone who could help you. The key is to act, just like Lynda did when she decided to buy that domain name back in 1995. The beauty of this story is its simplicity. It started with a desire to teach and evolved into a platform that changed the world. Your story might not seem grand now, but remember, even Lynda started with just an idea and a website. So, what's stopping you from taking that first step? Let this story be your spark. And as you reflect, make sure you've bookmarked or followed the resources that inspire you to stay on track. You're one step away from creating your own success story. As you move forward, think about what truly connects you to stories like Lynda's. Is it the determination? The creativity? Or perhaps the way she overcame doubts to create something impactful? Whatever it is, let it fuel your ambition. Every great journey starts with a single step, and yours could be right now. If this story has inspired you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need a little push to get started. Together, we can create a ripple effect of inspiration and action, because success is even better when shared.